what we will like to say this day, it matters not, we will back and forth conversate about the idea of God, God consciousness, or source energy. And here is what we really would like to say. You are not alone. God consciousness, source energy, all that you are is always ever present where you are. How you can transfer that consciousness, that piece of conversation into your physical, emotional, spiritual, metaphysical, every layer of your being, your light body, etc., go on and on and on, talk about all ways, is to really have a centering, centering concentration on that you are actually full of love. Even when there is the places with feelings of unworthiness, lack, doubt, self-worth, low self-esteem, etc., we would like for you to center in and really take a moment to feel the expansion that within you there is only love. Really, at the heart and center of all consciousness, there is love. Now, when we talk about that, we know what arises for many of our human friends, the duality of that, the opposites of that, the way in which your world is expressing so much what seems to be the opposite of love. And when we have this conversation, it is important for us to acknowledge that you go through those kinds of, corridors of consciousness around the opposite of love. Before this very moment, we wish to only focus and concentrate on how to expand that love consciousness within you, to dissipate then, dissipate those corridors of serious pain, doubt, and fear. The places where the unworthiness comes to germinate, take root, and start to flourish. When you focus and concentrate on the expression of the truth that you really are, and not let those other places fully bloom, you begin to take over the system of the corridors that are the lacking places, or the hurtful places, or the places of doubt and fear where love can not quite reside the same way. So we are connecting to the alignments of your hearts this day. So we would ask you to open your heart, to center for a moment, even close your eyes in this way. Being with us in this frequency, you did not choose this by accident. You are literally sitting in this moment wherever you are, and energetically we see you and we thank you for being in this connection. We cannot overstate how much we are having this moment of overjoyful connection to the mission being served. And we are definitely what you would say on a mission. So what you would acknowledge to yourself in this moment is, I drop into my heart. However that works for you, you just may have to say it. You may put your hands on your heart center and you feel your heart beating. You may close your eyes or you may keep them open, however feels good to you. And as you do that, you allow yourself to be in this moment fully present with the words and the energy and the frequency, the tonality, the cadence in which we are offering all that we are offering through this beloved channel, and the way that this comes through in languaging. We are dropping in the codes of light through this conversation, through the languaging as well, for the frequency of sound through this beloved, the way that the sound reaches to you energetically creates what we would say, in a sense, a holographic matrix connected to your physical body, your emotional system, your cellular system, the way in which you are having a focus in concentration as being a human being in this body temple that you are operating from, with the consciousness that you are from all time and all space. And what we mean by that is that you are ever eternal, wider continuation of all that you have ever been, and essentially all that you ever will be in what you would call the future. And you are heavily focused as you are in this moment. So with that heavy focus as being who you think you are in this moment, dropping into your heart space, we will be connecting what we do indeed call the light frequency healing codes to the extension that we can in this way, to offer you an expansion into your heart, to settle. And that settling will offer you more peace. And the reason we see to do this today for this very special gathering is that you are stepping forward into a very, we will say, potent time. Very potent timeline that you are stepping into. And the majority of you who hear this now, especially, are aware of that. And that is essentially why you are here. These codes that we are connecting with you do not just come through what the information is that you are understanding as language. So your brain is essentially making sense of the words that we are saying, but we are essentially bypassing all of that and dropping a connection beautifully into your heart space. And with that heart space, we offer you this. You have always existed into an expanded reality of life. You have always attended to life itself. You are life itself. You are ultimately love. And love, as life itself, is the God principle, the creation that is. You are literally, as we have said, but many bypass how we say this, you are literally the creation of life, which is God consciousness. That right there could be enough for you to take this day and set yourself down with and really ponder and really align with, to the extent that you can take that in and recognize the corridors where the blocks go up, where the heart gets a little tighter, gets more fearful, where the consciousness of your mind, body, and the heart center, the emotions that you also come into a body to feel, get restricted. And that is there where your work is. That is there where the healing lies. That is there where the consciousness can most definitely expand. When we talk about your emotions, and we talk about how it is that you have a feeling in the body, feelings. This is not separate from the body, and it is not separate from the mind consciousness and the heart consciousness of the spirit of eternal life that you are. You come to the physical body to have expression of experience as emotion. When you shut down emotion, feeling physically, even in the body, dear ones, which we would say most of all people do, we would say pretty much every being has at one time or another, and some come and experience to do that throughout their lifetime, and that is just the way that their soul chose. But most of you, and we will say all of you in this moment, have had the experience and the expression, and it happens early on most of the time. You come into your life experience, and as a child, even a baby, even a small child, you are in the world, and the expression of all that you are is somehow restricted. Whether or not that is environmentally, the things happening in the environment, that is maybe sometimes the physical beings called the parents who are operating at a capacity they are capable of in those moments, and for whatever reason, maybe you are too big, too much, too intense, however that would be. There is a push down on you to be something other, and the fullest expression, which is the God source of you, is then taught restriction, taught to close down all of your feeling synapses, all of the ways in which you are the fullest expression of the force of light that you are, the force of consciousness that you are. And when that happens, you learn essentially a pattern of repression. And this is a part of the expansion of understanding that you are only love. When that happens, you have a physical, emotional reaction in the body with consciousness. And this is not a separate thing. None of this is separate. This is not the body has an experience and consciousness has an experience. This is an all oneness that is connected at every level and participates in every level of what we would say the repression of the physical emotional body. But your emotions are literally a power source. When there is, we will say, trauma, when there is the repression of the feelings, when there is in any way don't say that, don't see that, don't see that, don't see that. And what we mean by that is, as children, very often you are so very much more open to the realms and the veils that exist all around you in this third dimensional reality, holographic matrix that you are participating in. And the consensus for a very, very long time has been to push that down, minimize that. That is just in your mind. That's your imagination, your imaginary friend. So most human beings along the way have even that kind of opening shut down to them. But there is so much more of that kind of repression that you all go through. Within that a repression of expanded experience, then the limitation sets in, the value of you begins to play. Now, the value gets into a place of unworthiness. And then what happens, the expression of all that you are is trying to find back to the place where it knows you as the consciousness of the higher aspects of the soul self that you really truly are and that came to experience this. Ultimately will set up life experiences to repattern, to bring yourself back into essentially the homeostasis of remembering all that you are. So this is literally the life's journey that you are taking. And when we talk to you about the one love source that you are trying to find your way back to that remembrance in a whole way, in the holiness way, in the way in which you know it to be true, within your guts, your soul, your being, your bones, your fibers, your spirit. And so as you are walking the road of your life, ultimately, you are going to take the path that gives you, even in what you would call, as you are seeing now, the darker experiences, the heaviness experiences, the traumatic events, the loss, the pain, the things that are the duality of the highest expression of the life you are. This gets co-created. Most of you know this. Most of you have experienced this to a very strong degree. And as you are in that expression of learning the great losses, the great shutdowns, the great pains, always, if you are willing to be remembering and really willing to be honest with that truth, the spark of light is always calling you forward, is always trying to help you remember, is always asking you to step out on a little bit more of a risky ledge so that you will expand again, is always saying, yes, but this is for your highest good. Yes, ultimately there is a lesson of growth and expansion for the soul self that you truly are. Remember, remember, remember. And so we are wanting to bring forth this reflection today about how it is that you are ultimately the source of God, a source of all that is. When we say this to you, as you are in the heart space that we have asked you to be and drop into, just notice that you have been, how should we say that? What comes up when you are in this place, when you say, I am the God source and there is only love here. Notice what begins to have the conversation. Notice how the possible unworthiness says, oh no, I'm definitely not that. I have so much more to practice, so much more to do. I'm definitely not, look at me now, look at this, look at that. Wholeness and holiness is in the future somewhere when I am fixed more, better more, done this thing, created that thing, gotten this much, given that much. And we want to really drop you into the space of the moment. Right now, where you stand, even with those roads ahead potentially, you are in perfection. There is really, ultimately, no place to get to. It is all right where you are. The wholeness and the remembrance is right where you are. We come, as you already know, multidimensionally. Here we are, 12 beings of light surrounded with and connected to our beloved channel in the way of streaming one voice as a collective agreement of conversation, as the message or the mission to offer to humanity for you to remember to wake yourself up, to recall that you are more, and you know it in the recesses. And that is what we are asking you to do. Feel into that. But when you do, you will be countered with the repression, is what we are saying. The repression that you push down this is going to have the gunk on top of it that you're going to need to examine, look at, clear away, dissolve, allow to be not that which takes you over. To say, oh, there's that. I remember because I put all that in place as the chains that would bind, so I wouldn't have to remember to feel all that I am while I was experiencing the complete opposite of all that I am in the life experience of being human, of being with those people, of being in that school, of being with those parents, and with being in my familial system or the environment. There is war energetically here on this planet. War, and what we mean by that is not always only the battles which do occur. And some of you have even been in energies of being born to systems that have extreme connections of lineage of war. So we will say to you, you come to the planet, you feel the experience of being physically born into a world that creates the opposite of the love quotient that you actually are. And with that, you are here to transmute all of that. You've already come so many times. The majority of you in the connection now, indeed, are very much what you would say the old souls who have come again and again and again on great missions of remembrance. And you have literally fought these battles, and you are here again upholding the light. You are in the transformation. We know many of your stories. We recognize you. We recognize you all to say to you that you are the reflection of each other as the wholeness, trying to remember that you are ultimately truth, light, love, and the source of all that there is. So we do not always do it like this, we must say. We are feeling more lightness this day in the conversation that we want to offer to you, because we do not always say, drop into your heart, do this like this, do this way. We sometimes are just giving you bang, 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 bang information, bang, 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 bang. Interesting. And we say we are giving you downloads of lots of information at once. We wanted to really center, focus into the heart space for you this time, this day, because as you begin to walk this road, see, here is what it is. We are very cognizant, connected to our beloved channel, not only in how to and what we do with our beloved channel each and every day, not only for her purposeful living of the being that she is too, as she is our defined partner, and it is a joyful exchange, and it is great works, and yet it is not just that we are in connection to her. We are recognized this wider mission, and she has signed up for it. So here it is, after many lifetimes, she is standing in this place holding this much that we are to bring forth. And what we are looking at is that this is an agreement, which you are recognizing to say monthly, in a transmission that ultimately can reach millions, ultimately, even in the replication of this offering, to say how it is that in the monthly experience you are about to be going through, you have a potent doorway of change. And that is why we have asked you to drop into your heart center, connecting the body mind, which we will say is the allness of you. Because really, that you are not separate from your body, even though you are separate from your body. Your body's cellular memory is a part of the collective allness that you have been. Let us say some of you even have been here thousands of lifetimes, as you would say in the past. We don't call it past, but we say it to give you that languaging because it helps you to understand, because you are thinking linearly, because that is the program. You have to think linearly. Ultimately, many of you are bursting out of that, so we will say. And the concentration that happens about your thousands of lifetimes brings you to this here now moment of focus and concentration as being this one that you are. And you have brought forth all those thousands of lifetimes too, essentially, into the body, mind, consciousness of all that you are. So ultimately, you are nothing but remembrance of source. You are remembrance of love. You are the remembrance of all that there is behind every veil, at every dimension, on every planetary system of all the systems that have been created, that have dissolved, and have been born again. You are ultimately all life. So within you, even now, as you feel oftentimes so limited by who you think you are, small self, little girl, little boy, as the expression of not enoughness, of I can't do it, of fearful ways, of abusive, traumatic experience that has pushed down to you, no matter what that looked like, the expression to not rise up and remember. And we are here to say, this is the call to step through the veil of not remembering. This time on your planet is beyond the awakening at this point. So many human beings are in the expansion awakening experience to the degree that their soul has made the agreement to harness, hold the energy to be that. And in so doing, you are all creating a field that is shifting this planet. For she is alive unto herself, as you are. You are a part of the consciousness of she, and that it is, we say that mother, the one known as Gaia. And we will say to you that as you are raising your own vibration into the remembrance, you are going to step through this portal of time.